Auburn's offense is desperate to score points this weekend versus Arkansas, and Arkansas's defense is giving up all the points. Welcome on into the Auburn Express, powered by the Warport. I'm your host, Mike D. Turn us up, turn us on, turn it out. I'm here with my good friend Caesar Walker to talk a little Auburn football here on a Monday morning. Top of the week, Caesar. On today's show, we're talking Auburn versus Arkansas. They are next up as the Tigers try to avoid going 0-5 to start conference play. And then in the second half of the show, we're going to talk about the week-to-week trial, which will be Hugh Freeze's employment moving forward. All signs point to the fact that he is going to be the coach come Saturday, so we'll see if anything changes. But let's start at the top here. Arkansas is the next opponent on the list. Before we started recording, you and I looked up some very concerning statistical data points. Auburn has not lost 5 games straight many times in their history. But in the years that they did, Caesar, the wheels came all the way off the wagon in those years. So they'll be looking to avoid that, setting that record here in those years, if you're wondering, for our folks at home. In 2022, when Brian Harsin was fired, they lost a stretch of football, starting with LSU, followed by Georgia, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State, all losses before they got off the schneid at Texas A&M. That was the Cadillac game that everybody was back for. In 2021, Harsin's first year, after going 6-2 to start, they lost every single game in November and the bowl game versus Houston. So that was the 5-game losing streak there. Then you have to go all the way back to 2012 to find the last time that they lost 5 games straight, again, in the middle of the season. Auburn didn't win a single conference game that year. So it was rough. Then if you go back to the year that Tommy Tuberville was fired, they lost 4 games in a row that year, but not 5. It's hard math, man, here for Hugh Freeze, as he's looking to avoid setting the wrong kinds of records here. But Auburn is on a 4-game slide. They have lost their first 4 games in conference play every year Hugh Freeze has been the head coach.
So basically, if it wasn't the head coach's first year and you lost 4 to 5 games in a row, you were out of there, is basically what we're saying, which makes this a very important game for Hugh Freeze coming up against Arkansas. An Arkansas team that is, by the way, 2-5, who just fired their own coach in Sam Pittman and are being led by a Bobby Petrino who knows a little something about offense, Mike, and we'll get into those stats as well. Even though this season they're in the midst of transition, they've been putting points on the board. And Auburn's strength, it matches up with Auburn's strength, which is their defense. But the concern there is you don't want to get into a shootout this weekend. And I understand that a lot of apathy has been set in for the fan base. A lot of people aren't really even excited about Auburn football. A lot of people are looking forward to basketball. But if you're Hugh Freeze, you cannot lose a 5th straight game. You didn't even do that in your first 2 seasons. 2 seasons in which this program was in transition. You were building towards something special. Year 3, you do not want to lose a 5th straight game, because that indicates that you have pretty much lost your program and everything has completely gone off the rails. The first 4 losses have been against ranked opponents, people who are in playoff contention. You can't lose a 5th one to a team that doesn't even expect to go to a bowl game. So this is an important game this weekend, Mike.
It is a super important game for Hugh Freeze if he expects to try to stay the Auburn coach. Look, after the game on Saturday, Hugh Freeze said that the goal is to win out, which means winning your final 5 remaining contests, Caesar. It's just going to be, which is a tall task because there are two really good teams in there. Looking at the schedule here, again, Missouri, you lost. You have only Arkansas, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Mercer, and Alabama left. In the latest edition of the AP poll, Vanderbilt moved up to 10 in the poll. Alabama, easily in the top 10. Look, this is you're gonna log two top 10 wins to win out. Certainly, I think that could get him to year 4, but it's troubling. It's troubling where the team is at now. Um, in year 1, there were some things I saw about this program that concerned me, and I was assured by anybody who was a Hugh Freeze defender that it was the talent. And look at what he was left. And I said, no, man, you got to look at how this is being managed. It feels like guys are being undercoached
Yeah.
and underdeveloped or misidentified. Like it's I saw some things that were concerning. Now that the talent level is not the question, we're still having the same conversations. And now people are starting to come around to my side and say, hey, maybe this is what Mike G was talking about a couple of years ago, when he was worried about some of the things that I pointed out. Caesar, Arkansas is putting up 513 yards per game. Now, the defense has performed admirably in every single contest. As a matter of fact, they haven't given up. We are 7 games in this season. They haven't given more than 24 points to any opponent, which is incredible. Because if you look at some of the teams ranked in the top 10 right now, they've done that multiple times already. Look at a team like Georgia, who
Yeah.
they gave up all those points to Tennessee.
Yeah.
You are playing quality football teams, and you haven't given up a ton of points yet. Yet you are unable to win a conference game because the offense continues to underwhelm here. Look, there's an opportunity for Auburn here in this game versus Arkansas. Their defense is ranked 124th in the FBS in a red zone defense, allowing opponents to score on 93.5% of their trips inside the 20. Woo, you got to score. You have to score. You have to score. They are giving up points to everybody.
The least amount of points they gave up was 32 points to Memphis. If you recall, that was the game that pretty much Sam Pittman was in trouble after that game. Right? Arkansas was expected to beat Memphis. They lost to Memphis, and that was the least amount of points, 32. Mike, I'm expecting Auburn to score more than 32 points. I know that Memphis was a ranked team going into last week. They lost to UAB, who fired their coach, interestingly enough. But I expect Auburn to bounce back. If ever there was a game that the offense needed to get back on track and really begin to figure some things out, it's against a team that's allowed everybody to figure things out against them, against
Yeah.
Arkansas, right? Like they have
Yeah.
been living for shootouts, right? And so I think that if you're Auburn, you do not want to put that defense in a situation where they're on the field a lot against an advantageous offense in Arkansas that likes to put points on the board and move the football all over the field. The best defense in this game is a competent offense that stays on the field. So doing well in third down, getting into the red zone and putting up points. Auburn knows and they've demonstrated how to play keep away against opponents. They did it very well against Georgia at home for a half. So if you're Auburn, the game plan is quite simple. You're going to have to play keep away against Bobby Petrino and keep them on the sideline because as long as they're on the sideline and you're Auburn, you're in good shape. Obviously, I believe in what DJ Durkin and company can do to cook up some things, but again, you don't want to give Bobby Petrino a lot of time, a lot of opportunities at bat to put points up against your defense. That's just a losing proposition. So if you can get the run game going and you begin to have those long drives and win the time of possession this weekend to keep Arkansas off the field, Auburn is in good shape, and I like their chances in this game.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Look, you said the right thing there. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense that can sustain drives and keep, Bobby Petrino from affecting this game with his play calling. So you've got to give him a less to work with here, and that's just where Auburn's at right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys are able to do that. They've got to win. They've
I
got to
agree.
win this weekend.
I
I don't
agree.
think there's another. I don't care how they win. They've got to win, and it's going to be. I'm going to be interested to see if they can do that here. As I mentioned, they're bad in the red zone. They're bad in almost every statistical category. They lead the league in yards given up from scrimmage. Um, they are the worst rush defense in the league. They're the second worst pass defense in the league. They're the worst in terms of points given up per game.
Yeah. Mike,
I
this is not a good weekend to beat yourself on offense, right? The mistakes need to be at a minimum because if you don't beat yourself, there's no precedent where Arkansas is beating people defensively. They're not stopping people. So you can't afford to stop yourselves, right? You can't get on the road and get behind the chains, right? That's something we saw this year when Auburn was on the road. They would just take themselves out of drives and just implode. You can't be missing wide open receivers. You can't have holding calls in most in inopportune time. Like you have to play sound and discipline. Again, these are things that we have not seen consistently, especially on the road for this Auburn offense. You can't beat yourself because Arkansas, they haven't beaten anyone defensively. They've just been outscoring people or at least trying to outscore them. You
uh,
can't be the reason. You cannot be the reason Arkansas goes off.
yeah, man. I don't know what else to say, my friend. I they just you got to find a way. You have
Yeah.
to find a way. And the way is going to be by finishing drives, hitting the big plays when they're there.
Yeah.
And look, I don't know at this point if you can have an in-season culture shift that matters. But certainly, I think that the writing is kind of on the wall here for Hugh Freeze and staff. Look, man, we talked about that 5-game losing streak. Uh, every coach that's done that has been fired,
Yeah.
right? So, uh,
Whether I mean, eventually, yes. Harson did it 2 times, first season, the second
well,
se
no, well, technically, he only did it once
true, because he
because
got fired in the middle of that streak, that second streak.
right.
He wasn't there long enough for it to be his, but yes.
Yeah, he made
Uh,
it to the next season,
he
but
was
he
well
got
on his
fired.
way to a 5-game losing streak because things had went on off the rails by that point.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, so he didn't get a chance to make it to the end of the next losing streak.
thank God.
Uh, but again, you had a 4-game losing streak in 2008, which ended in Tuberville getting fired, right? In 2012, you had a 5-game losing streak, dead smack in the middle of the season. And quite honestly, the only reason that that streak wasn't longer is because the only games Auburn won that year were against the FCS opponents, essentially.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you had them break up the SEC schedule so that, like, if they had like 6 straight conference games that year, they probably would have had 6 straight losses because they did not win a single conference game that year. That was 2012.
yeah.
He got fired. We all know Gus came in 2013. Gus never did it. He didn't have a 5-game losing streak in any season that he was, I don't know if Gus had a 4-game losing streak in any season that he was the Auburn coach. He didn't do it in 2014. He didn't do it in 2015. Some disappointing losses, but no 4-game losing streaks. 2016, super disappointing season, but they still finished 8-5. No 4-game losing streaks. 2017, obviously they went 10-4, so you ain't lose all 4 in a
Yeah,
row.
if you're losing 4 games in a row, Mike, I mean, because Malzahn had winning seasons, right? He had winning seasons,
Yeah.
and 7 to 8 wins, right? That was Gus's that was the usual for him, the norm for him. So if you're losing 4 or 5 games, like chances are you having a losing season. Like at best, you're going 6-6 if you're having losing streaks like that. So thankfully, no, you didn't see that with Gus, but there were other frustrating aspects about what was happening in season with Gus consistently over the years that led to his demise as Auburn's head coach.
Yeah, yeah. No Auburn coach in this era of football and since the turn of the century has lost 5 games in a row and finished the next season as the coach. So we'll see how that goes. Look, this is we talked about this on our Sunday show, but this is absolutely a do or die game for Hugh Freeze. We'll talk about the status of the Auburn coach's job next on the Auburn Express, right after a quick word from our sponsors, our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in life, the Rogue Shop has something that has you covered, guys. If you've got some traditional ailments and you're looking for some non-traditional remedies, the Rogue Shop could be the place for you. Visit rogueshop.com. Again, use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Let them know that the War Report sent you. I want to thank our friends at Sky Tobacco in Vape. Need a vape shop that's always close by? Well, Sky Tobacco and Vape has you covered with 4 convenient locations all over the Columbus, Phoenix City area. So whether you're cruising down Airport Thruway, scooting up the 280 bypass, or just making a slide down Victory Drive, they've got a spot ready for you from tobaccos and vapes and everything in between. Sky Tobacco and Vape is your one-stop shop for all your tobacco and vape needs. Visit them today. Chances are they are already on your way. Want to thank our friends at Golden's Cast Iron. Visit goldenscastiron.com/WR. Use code Get Your Weight Up, 15% off your weights, and code TWR for $65 off fire pits and Kamado grills. Golden's Cast Iron, work out, grill out, and chill out with Golden's Cast Iron. Also, want to thank our friends at the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. If you are in the Columbus, Phoenix City area and you're looking to get fresh for the weekend, visit the Vibe Vault, not just barbers, lifestyle consultants. Last but certainly not least, want to thank our friends at Abel's Iron More and Associates. That's AMA. Caesar, markets go up, markets go down. What matters is having experienced professionals guiding your investment through every cycle. Abel's I Know More and Associates have been doing just that since 2003. They currently manage over $200 million in assets for clients in more than 25 states and 2 foreign countries. Their service is personal and tailored to help you pursue your goals and protect what you built. If you're looking for a team of fiduciary advisors with experience and discipline to manage your investment with care, call AIMA at 912-777-4128 or visit aimainc.com today. The War Report has been compensated by Abel's I Know More and Associates for this endorsement. AIMA is a registered investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. The information in this advertisement is for informational purposes only and should not be considered personalized investment advice. All investing involves risk, including potential loss of principal. Past performance is definitely not indicative of future results. Again, call AIMA today to get on your path to financial security. Let's jump back into our conversation. Hugh Freeze has to win Saturday. As of today, as of this recording, it appears that he will be the coach for this week. But there was a lot of speculation. Caesar, I can tell you, in the press box, in the stands, there were people holding up signs on their phone that said "Fire Freeze." There were staff asking me questions after the game. Um, I think he gets now. It's starting to set in that his job is on the line here this Saturday. He has got to win. John Cohen has been noticeably missing from the last few press conferences. And I think that he is trying to figure out if there is a route to defending this coach. But it starts with wins. There's no way to defend 0-5 in SEC play.
Mike, none of this you can defend. Like, you can't defend where Auburn is right now. I think this is why a lot of people expected a change to have occurred by now. Is much of what Hugh Freeze has done has left a lot to be desired. You're 14-18 overall, 1-12 against ranked opponents, and you have a losing record in Jordan Hare. Like that's just not going to get it done. And you're 3-4 in year 3 with all of the resources at your disposal. An embarrassment of talent on your roster. You're sitting at 3-4, half past the halfway point in the season. And yes, every game from here on out is a must win because a lot of people had the floor at 8-4, right? You yourself has said that 7-5 is not off the table about Hugh Freeze's future.
Yeah.
You said that at 7-5. So that means if we're trying to avoid that conversation, he has to win out. And 2 of those games are against potentially top 10 opponents, one on the road and one at home against in the Iron Bowl. The cards are stacked against you. And the last thing you want to do is go out on the road and lose to a 2-5 team that is sure not to go bowling at the end of the season. That in and of itself is a sign that the wheels have gone completely off of this train. And so if you're Hugh Freeze and you want to begin to stop the bleeding, it starts this weekend and every weekend after that, because again, you're coaching for your Auburn life at this point.
Yeah, he is definitely coaching for his Auburn life at this point. As we mentioned a second ago, there is not an Auburn coach that has lost 5 games straight in a season and finished the next season as Auburn's coach. So,
Yeah.
look, I don't, you can't lose this one. I think that it should definitely be an instant firing with a loss to Arkansas. I don't think there are any excuses. Um, that's a road game, I believe. I think that Ike is going to be on the road traveling. He has covered every single away game for us so far this year, including Baylor way out in Waco.
Shouts out to Ike for going on the road
Yeah, listen,
still,
man, he's
man.
been a
That's
trooper. He's been a
yeah,
trooper.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Show us some
Uh,
support. Show us some support. If Ike is still going on the road and doing the Lord's work for the Auburn faithful, show us some support, man.
yeah. Look, the defense has done the job week in and week out, but the side of the ball that Hugh Freeze is responsible for has to step up to the plate here
I agree.
and show that they can finish a game. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the defense can do any more for them other than actually score. So
Mike, the word close needs to turn into the verb. You need to start closing out games offensively and taking care of business when you have the ball and moving the ball and scoring points instead of going 3 and out, not getting first downs and putting your defense right back on the field. It was frustrating to see in overtime Auburn not get a single first down. In fact, they went backwards in overtime. Uh, and so, again, you're going to have to start closing out games and closing out these opportunities that you have when you have the football. And it starts this weekend and here on out. If you feel that you're close, which again, history indicates that you're not really close offensively, but if you believe that, and if those players believe that, it's time to start closing the gap and really starting to put points on the board, taking the pressure off of Auburn's defense, which has been playing at an elite level, so you can begin to be more competitive and start taking advantage of these games that are within your grasp.
yeah, look, some uncomfortable conversations will have to be had. But for the most part, I think Auburn wins Saturday. I think Auburn wins Saturday. Uh, look, 5 games straight. This team, I mean, when you look at the teams that did that, that lost 5 games straight, uh, I mentioned 2022 when the year Harsin got fired. They had a 5 game losing streak, but he was not the coach for all 5 of those games. But the year before, which is really where he got fired, Brian Harsin was cooked. He was cooked after he ended his 2021 campaign, losing 4 straight regular season games and the bowl game against Houston. So it's
The biggest L was losing Bo
yeah. I mean,
in the offseason.
it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate. I mean, he lost. Well, he lost Bo, which ultimately is what led to that 4-game losing streak, right?
Sure.
Down the stretch of that last season. But it gave them all the ammo they needed to get him out. Hugh Freeze had the support, he had the alignment. Um, you just cannot lose this game, I think, and then make a case that you got what it takes to get Auburn through to the other side. Ike has some feelings about, his statements about why he's the guy to get Auburn through to the other end. I don't want to hear any of that, man. Just go out and win on Saturday. I think Auburn does that. I do. I think the defense plays well enough. I think we've seen enough from the offense. I don't think, like, similarly to how, like, Auburn just did what they wanted and posted 38 on Baylor. This Arkansas defense is worse than that. They should be able to do what they want offensively. They should be able to run the football down their throats and score as many points as they need to in this one to get the dub. We'll see what they do on Saturday, though. We got a win to talk about, man. I think they should be able to get the next 2, Arkansas and Kentucky, and then let's have a conversation headed into Vanderbilt.
I'm not making any predictions, Mike, and I agree with you. Auburn should be able to move the football this weekend. There's a lot of things that Auburn should have done offensively up to this point and did not do.
Yeah.
So I'm in a wait and see approach, even when it comes to 2-5 Arkansas. Auburn has the talent. Auburn should move the ball. Will they? We'll have to find out.
Now we will have to find out. But look, we want to hear from you. Will Auburn be able to move the ball on Saturday? Will they win? Hit the comments after the video. Let us know what you think. Is Freeze done for? We want to hear that as well, too. Just drop your comments. Let us know what you think about all of that. And while you're there, do us a favor. Smash that super thanks button. Your financial support helps keep the work that we're doing here going. Please hit like and subscribe. We are the War Report on every social media platform. TW Report on TikTok. Signing off. And as always, War Eagle.